Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Creating Crowbar Plays Dark Souls NG+. I'm Rich Stanton.
I'm Marsh Davies.
And we are saying bonk to all these noobs who dared to stand in our way first time through.
In the last episode we were talking about the dark sign and its meaning.
We were.
And we were talking about how the gods have effectively defined the terms of this world. So when you talk about the undead, is that really so distinct from the idea of being immortal? Well, it seems that it's only distinct in terms of it being a curse, in inverted commas, which afflicts humanity, who are unbeloved of the gods. I was wondering if you would like to talk a bit about why the gods might fear humanity. Is it simply because they are they proliferate, and as any kind of people fear an infestation by vermin, that the gods might dislike humanity for that reason alone?
I think it's even simpler than that, actually. I think they fear the dark soul. I think one of the interesting, because so much is hidden in Dark Souls, it's easy to miss the obvious stuff, such as the fact that the game is called Dark Souls, and that the only time we hear the word or the phrase Dark Soul is from Kath, when we meet him in the Abyss, when he's talking about your furtive pygmy ancestor, or possibly, most likely talking about. I don't think it's a massive stretch, even though this is my interpretation, to say that Dark Souls are humanity.
Yeah.
You know, the Dark Souls are the humanity running around this world. And I think the reason the gods fear the Dark Souls are because they are the unknown quantity. I think everything else in this world, the gods have kind of factored in.
Yeah, everything ticks along to their rhythm, basically.
So I don't think there's an easy answer to it, in the sense of why do gods fear humans? Oh, it's this reason, they've got this weapon, they've got this blah blah blah. I think the reason they fear humans is because they are the unknown factor. I think it's because there were 4 Lord Souls, and they know that one of them is in the catacombs of Nito, they know that one of them is with the Witch of Izalith, and they know that Gwyn has the last one, and then they just don't know where the 4th is, because
it's everywhere.
It's furtive. Yeah, and he split it and it's everywhere. And, you know, you'll notice Kath talks about the Dark Soul, and the title of the game is Dark Souls. And obviously we have, you know, humanity, which is this kind of sprite. Yeah. If you look at the Soul of Manus, and the Soul of Artorias, and then you look at every other soul.
Well, here's another interesting thing,
white.
Right? I mean, just as the terminology in the game is quite mercurial, and you can't really pin things down in the way that you expect them to be pinned down. So, for example, humans are not human as we understand it. They're humans by dint of having humanity, which is the Dark Soul, right? But by that same token, humanity is not necessarily an unmitigatedly good thing, necessarily. In the same, so you see that with the dark, the abyss itself, which is presumably some kind of manifestation of the Dark Soul, that humanity wants to kind of collect itself together, or perhaps not that, but when humanity is collected together, bad things happen. And that, you know, maybe that's kind of a more cruder metaphor than the game has elsewhere for kind of, you know, the nature of humanity in reality. You know, that you know, there is something like original sin, that there is some kind of bad thing which is innate to humankind, that when collected together becomes a problem.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what I think in terms of the connection between the abyss and humanity. Like, it's kind of suggested a lot of times, but it's suggested by people who aren't necessarily trustworthy, i.e. the serpents.
But there are things which are undoubtable, which is that the 4 kings were given life dragon, which is a way of amassing souls, and
humanity.
Sorry, humanity. Yeah. And bad things have happened to them. Look at them.
Yeah.
You know, and Manus, also the father of humanity, we think, is in a bad way, and it seems to be that the abyss has manifested itself most profoundly in places where there are lots of humans, like cities.
Well, New Londo is a human city.
Mm.
I mean, the Abyss didn't manifest in Orlando, did it?
No.
I do think it's worth remembering that in every case, the serpents are involved.
Yeah, and
So
they are liars.
these are human cities. Is that going to hit him? No. Oh, it makes me sad. I think we may have to go through the depths to get to Blighttown. There's a key we need to go the other way, and I just can't remember where to get it. That's okay, because all we're doing is chatting. And I'm gonna pop a red eye orb, just on the off chance. Just on the off chance. Why not, eh? These dudes, what are they doing? Bonk! Oops. Arrow in the head. That kind of put paid to my glorious ambitions. I do agree in as much as there is definitely a link between the Abyss and humanity. There is something there. But I... how can I put this? Like, I don't know if that's like a natural consequence of the Dark Soul. I don't know if that's like the way it has to be, or if this is just something the serpents are trying to bring about.
Right.
Which is kind of what I highly suspect. I think the reason, I mean, I have no basis for saying this, but remember what I was saying about how great souls attract things. They attract power.
Yeah.
They attract responsibility in some sense. Like, I almost feel that the reason the Dark Soul was dispersed was to avoid that. Was to avoid that responsibility for controlling the world, which has kind of backfired somehow and given, you know, humanity this potential power to do things. You know, there's no way to know that. I mean, this is the point where Dark Souls lore kind of breaks down. It's like you reach a point and you're like, well, why did the furtive pygmy, or Manus, if Manus was indeed the furtive pygmy, why did they do it? You know, why did they split the Dark Soul? Can we open that? Oh, we need to buy the fucking key. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Let's just go and bump Capra because we can. It's worth pointing out that Manus, I don't think Manus is the furtive pygmy. He may be like the remnants of it. Chester says they awoke that thing oh no, Goff said actually, they awoke that thing themselves and drove it mad. You know, so they awoke, so clearly it was dormant, you know, if not dead. The residents of Illicil wanted something from it, opened it up. But that is not, you know, if Manus is the furtive pygmy, that's not what the furtive pygmy was like. You know, like that is some sort of maddened state of his. And in terms of the Abyss connection, what do we know about the Abyss? Like, it really fucks people up. Like that is the one thing that kind of makes me think the connection to humanity just cannot be as straightforward as it is implied at certain points. It is. Because you look at Illicil, like obviously when we look at New Londo, in terms of the Abyss, all we see of the actual Abyss is blackness in the Four Kings. Watch me kick the ass of the... this is definitely gonna...
Come on, Capra.
Bonk. Oh, he doesn't like it.
Doesn't like this vibe.
Doesn't like this vibe.
The dogs got combined together.
Oh, shit. Oh. Bonk. Oh, wow, it's staggering him. It's my kind of action. I just want to get rid of this final dog. Oh, he's a sneaky one. He's a sneaky one. Did you see that jump?
I did, yeah.
I couldn't believe that. Oh. Whoops. Glug, glug, glug. Bonk. Yeah, that's the end of your game, mate. What about you, Capra? Do you remember me? Do you remember me when I was a mere noob? Remember this? Bonk! Oh, one more for the kids.
Refresher. There you go.
Well, what is it? Oh no, it failed. Well, what is it now? Oh, he's too dead to see it. That's a real pity. I'd love to rub it into the Capra Demon. We're running around with 250,000 souls. We should probably do something about that.
So here's the thing. I mean, about the nature of the Dark Soul and the way it seems to corrupt people who amass large amounts of it. Maybe that's not strictly true only of the Dark Soul, but just true of people who are greedy for souls in general. Like, you look at all the gods, and all of them have consumed a large amount of souls. They have, souls which are equivalent to many, many individual souls. And they all look kind of fucked up, regardless of whether they've been consuming Dark Souls or whatever kind of souls they've been eating, They all look kind of messed up. There's just a kind of theme of corruption and I suppose, like, amassing power in general in this world leads to corruption, essentially. I
think the amassing power thing is pretty key to it, like everyone, like basically the more souls you get in this game, and it's another one of those things that works really neatly mechanically as well, like the fact that it takes you more souls to level up with every level you increase. The more souls you get, the more you want. The more powerful you get, the more souls you need to become more powerful. And certainly when you look at the gods and how powerful they are, those guys have consumed a lot of souls. Like if you look at Nito, I think Nito is like the actual character model for Nito is just brilliant. And if you look at him, I think the really interesting thing about Nito is he has a white aura and he has a black aura as well. So he has an aura of souls and he has an aura of humanity. So like, obviously he's the god of death, which is kind of curious in a game where the whole problem is that people aren't dying. But he doesn't seem to have an issue with collecting souls and humanity. He seems to have plenty of it. I think again, Nito is one of these characters that like, kind of like Velka, sits outside of it. Like you never hear anything about Nito trying to get involved in relighting the first flame.
No.
He doesn't seem to give a shit. He just sits in his coffin and like he's quite happy for people to die, and he just does his thing. He's Nito and that's it.
It's kind of staggering, yeah.
Yeah, it's not really working for me, is it? Oh, hello.
Oh, maybe that was why.
Oh well, end of game for him. Yeah, so there's this thing where, oh, hello, where did you come from? Get back to hell. Plonk. We got another. No. Bye-bye. Was his mate come out? Oh, he was matey. Bonsh. Lovely. So, large ember. We could go down here and bum the rat and go straight to the bonfire. He says doing it anyway.
I'd leave it to your better judgment.
Yeah, we're definitely going to bum this rat. No doubt about it. In fact, we could even soften him up. Do you like fire?
Yeah, he does.
Well, he does just seem to be sitting there and taking it. Oh well, at least he reacted to that one.
Soften him up, eh, Rich? Is that how a man fights?
No, I do feel a bit ashamed of that actually.
He was only a rat, that's fine.
Yeah. Sure, chamber key. That's my kind of action. So now we can
Don't
go down
get
here.
cursed.
Don't get cursed. We're not even going to be in the kind of area to get cursed.
Oh, yeah, okay.
La la la. La la la.
Where's our NPC invader?
Around here somewhere. Oops. I'm a bit worried about that swing. Not that one.
Man, I think Dark Spirit Knight Kirk is the Dark Spirit we kill the most in the entire game, right?
He turns up 3 times, yeah, and I can't think of any other one that even turns up twice. Oh, and the bomb. Oh, he's getting a bit saucy now, though. Oh well.
Be 4 times then, Kirk.
Famous last words.
Count 'em. Count 'em.
Has he killed us once?
I think he killed us the first time.
Did he?
Or maybe something else killed us. I know we had to replay the section. I remember that.
That's sad. I'm pretty sure the rats killed us. We had a terrible record against rats first time through.
They were the bosses.
I wonder if one of the reasons we're not getting many invasions is that we're not quite the right level. And we've got all these souls, so when we can hit a bonfire here, should we just level up a lot?
Yeah, let's do that.
Is there anything you want to use that we haven't really seen? What about the old Dragon Slayer Great Bow?
Okay, give it a go, why not? Yeah.
Let me just have a look at what stats we need to use that. That is crazy. Dragon Slayer. Oh, hello. Sorry, mate. It's a closed room. Dragon Great Sword.
Oh, that sounds
50.
quite good.
No, we can't.
No?
We can't use that anytime soon. Which is very sad. I would like to. 27 strength, 20 dex. So, let's. Oh, it's doing that annoying twatty thing again. Yes, yes, I am sure I want to quit the game. I mean, we could have just stood around there and waited, but it's quicker to do this, really.
Fine by
Such
me.
a twatty thing. Bandai Namco, why did you skip on the servers for this? Skimp, I mean. You dirty Pac-Man squeezing cocksuckers. So, what other points of discussion have people put forward to us?
Some people want to know about builds. I don't know
Oh dear.
anything about that.
I don't know anything about that. I mean, I'm the wrong guy to talk to people about builds. If they're talking about if you're talking about PvE in terms of getting through the game, this weapon does the trick. It does the trick and then some. If you're talking about PvP, I'd say the only important thing is to keep your roll a fast roll, really. Dark Souls is a big problem with PvP. So 27 strength, 20 dex, that's going to let us use the Dragon Slayer Great Bow. Let's have a few more hit points and a little bit more vitality. Lovely. Oh no, he stood up. He stood up. You know what that means, Marty?
No.
Invasion time.
Is that right?
Well, theoretically. Theoretically.
We haven't even used our
Oh,
souls
hello.
yet.
He's came in. I think that was him. Nice. Nice.
There we go.
So we've got an invader.
Where's he going to be?
Somewhere down here. I don't know. We'll see him. We'll fight him in this room, I guess. He's going to come through that door. He's going to come through the one below us. So it's time for some spy. Let's head down.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
Oh, it's Manchester.
It is.
Oh, he's invisible. Is that meant to happen? Doesn't look like it should.
Oh dear.
Oh, he's quick.
Oh dear.
Oh no! Oh, Richie.
That was not my type of fun. Bonk.
Oh, didn't
Bonk.
do too much damage though.
Well, he was blocking.
Oh, 300 though. That's
Nice.
a few more of those.
Oh,
not
no.
again!
The dirty backstab. This is the problem.
This could go wrong.
Oh no.
Oh dear.
No,
What's
dirty
he-
Chester. What's he got for us? Come on, mate, give us a pose. Oh, he bows.
Oh, wow. Well, yeah. That's
Fair play, you backstabbing son of a bitch. Oh, we've got to go and pick up those souls now. And not get killed by the torch hollow. That would sit me down to the ground. There they are.
delicious.
Lovely. Bonk. This will work out okay for us actually because we can do all that leveling, get the great bow equipped, and then turn human and invade somebody. Oh no, I reversed hollowing first. Never mind. It'll all work out, Marty.
Mm-hmm.
It will all work out. So yeah, builds. I mean, I don't bloody know. I mean, there's tons and tons of advice out there. All I would say is every single one of my successful PvP builds on my main character has a fast roll, which is under 25% equipped, I think. I may be getting confused with Dark Souls 2 there, but yeah, I think it's under 25% equipped. And then you have a roll like this, and that is essential. Ooh! I hate you, Torch Hollow. So die. I'd say that's the only essential thing. Like, I think most of the weapons in Dark Souls are workable. You just need to, you know, learn how to use them. You know, like if you're using, say this Vi, for example, like even though that guy was backstabbing motherfucker, he was waiting for the big R2 swing, which obviously I wanted to land because it would have looked awesome, but it has a massive recovery time. So he was just waiting for that, and then he was running around backstabbing us. Fair play, you know, valid tactic. But if you're gonna seriously use this Vi-hander, you need to be aware of that. You know, you need to not spam out the R2 just to try and impress Marty. Because that's going to happen to you. You know, you're going to get backstabbed. You should only like throw out the R2 when it's a non-moving blob like this, or when you have them in a corridor. Pretty certain you're going to hit them. Like weapons like the halberd, like, you know, like the halberd is going to lose close up to a sword. Like that's just the way it is. Like a halberd is a distance weapon. If you play with the halberd and you let people get right up close to you, you're going to lose. You know, it's not necessarily about builds. It's about, like, if you have a halberd, you keep them like 6 feet away from you and you poke them when they try to come in. And if they come in, you spin the halberd to force them away. You know, like if they're up close, like a swing with a sword takes less time than a swing with a halberd. So you're always going to lose. Like, I think that's much, much more important than your actual stats. In terms of builds, like I wouldn't give build advice because I'm just not that good. You know, like I play PvP quite a lot, I love it, but you know, I'm not going to say I'm good at it, you know, like because the evidence is here. So, you know, it would be foolish of me to pretend otherwise. But yeah, you know, it's like, I think the biggest thing about Dark Souls is like, don't take it too seriously. Like, there are loads of tryhards out there who get really pissed off playing it, and like I've had more hate mail for killing people in Dark Souls than I've had in any other game. And it's just a joke, you know, it's like Dark Souls is fun, you know, you play it for fun. And people take it so seriously. Like, just play with a weapon you like the look of. Play with a weapon that you like the way it swings and stuff, and like if you beat somebody it'll feel awesome. That's my whole attitude to it, you know, like I just think kind of...
You can spend too much time min-maxing these things, I guess.
Exactly, and if you want to min-max these things, go to the Dark Souls subreddit, go to the Dark Souls wiki, and there's more information than you could possibly process about how to do it.
I mean, this is one of the things that relates to the whole issue of difficulty in Dark Souls, is that you could spend a lot of time just grinding souls and leveling yourself up, and it would reduce the challenge of a lot of the boss fights, but...
I don't think it would necessarily, you know? Like, I think the difference that leveling up makes in this game is less than in any other game where leveling up is an issue. Like, I think if you're not able to use the combat system, you're still gonna get munched, you know? Like,
oh yeah, but having the Lightning's Vi is a big help.
Oh yeah, but like we didn't get a Lightning's Vi until we nearly completed the game.
Sure.
You know? Like it's not. Oh sugar. Like so it does make a difference, but let's get that guy's tail off. Oh. Oops, what's he doing?
He's flying a bat. Plonk.
After Solaire.
They do like their bum slams in this game, don't they? That's the,
yeah, they love a bum slam. Let's get that tail off.
Come on. Fall off, just fall off.
Oh, one more ought to do it. Come on.
Yeah!
That's what we like to see, a bloody stump.
So, see how... Obviously the gods defeated the dragons, yet there is a red dragon still in the world, there's an everlasting dragon, there's this dude. What's the deal with these guys? How do they survive? Is there any lore on that?
These are not true dragons. These are like, oh, we didn't kill the channeler up above. That's a problem. So there's a mage. Oh, get out of there. There's a mage up there.
Yeah.
There he is. I think you'll recall first time through we bummed him.
Yeah.
But obviously we haven't this time. And he will, he could buff this dude.
That would be a problem.
Yeah, that would be a massive problem. luckily he hasn't so far, which I'm actually quite surprised about. Normally he does it quite quickly. But yeah, one of the interesting things about that is that, of course, Seath is a dragon. There are these remnants of dragons. Like the Gaping Dragon isn't a true dragon. He is a kind of some sort of twisted descendant. He's not an everlasting dragon. Like, he's not a noble beast.
No.
Miyazaki said he was intended to show, what was it, the overpowering greed. And he said he was really pleased when the artist returned the first sketch for him, because from any other artist he would just have got a very fat character. But this artist understood the concept.
Greed again as a corrupting force.
So everything in Dark Souls kind of works in that way.
Makes you wonder what you're going to end up looking like after you finish the game.
Well, Gwyn, I guess. I mean, like, the whole thing with Gwyn is, even though Gwyn is set up as this kind of almost kind of hapless character by some characters in the game, like they talk about him like he's, you know, clueless, like he coddled Flame and tried to hold on to his Age of Fire and blah blah blah. I kind of, maybe I'm weak and sentimental, I kind of think Gwyn's quite heroic, you know, like when you look at the alternatives and when you look at the fact that they tried to do it in other ways, and then like when it fucked up with the Witch of Izalith, he tried to stop it.
I suppose the truth is he isn't actually grossly incandescent by the end. I mean, the incandescence of the sun is a projection.
Well,
and Gwyn ends up being your size and kind of just fucked up, but not in a kind of the debauched way that you see most of the other gods.
Yeah, well, certainly the whole sun thing is interesting in that Anor Londo has the sun brighter than anywhere else. If you go back to the Undead Parish after revealing the illusion of Anor Londo, it's still sunny there. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know, that seems to me one area where the lore kind of falls down. I would have quite liked it if you went back to the Undead Parish and everything was dark as well. But, you know,
I guess that's quite a large ask from the development team.
Yeah. These guys. One more. Oh. Come on, Fatso. Down you go. Lovely. Should we try and do the same as we did last time here? Actually, you didn't really see this area first time because we just kind of ran through it. So, let's just fireball this first guy. We'll fire the second. Oh, he's not dead. Bonk. So they're using the Great Club, which toxics you, poisons you if they hit you with it. You also get dung pies when you kill them.
Oh yeah.
Which Miyazaki said he wanted the player to imagine how they would acquire such an item. Odd sense of humour. I love the guy. Oh, maybe if we two-hand it, we'll get better results. I kind of want to kill these guys in one hit, you know? Like, I don't really want them to be getting up. Yeah, well, I guess we'll just have to settle for 2 hits. So we talked about builds. Anything next on the agenda?
Mr. Alex Rowley
toxically
asks us about the most frustrating moments of Dark Souls, but if you watch that playthrough, I think you can probably guess.
Yeah, indeed. Those 4 kings, I won't be forgetting that for a while. I think when I was very first playing it, I hit a real wall with, you won't believe this, Ceaseless Discharge. I couldn't beat Ceaseless Discharge for like a day. I still don't really know why it was, but I just couldn't. I had real problems with Capra Demon. I didn't have, I had problems with the 4 kings, but like of a different kind. By the time I came to fight the 4 kings on my first playthrough, like I was leveled far beyond what we were. I had much better weapons than an unbuffed rapier. Yeah, so I guess the Capra Demon. Ooh, hello. the Capra Demon, Ceaseless Discharge, and a couple of kind of areas as well. Like Anne Orlando, the first time I went through it, and I didn't really know where to go. Like I do think one of the things that you're missing out on, I don't know if missing out is the right way to put it exactly, is that I know where to go. Oh shit! That couldn't have been more perfect.
Good timing.
So obviously, the first time you go through any of these areas, you've just literally got no idea.
Yeah.
You know, you're just forging into the dark, and I think that's one of the big things about Dark Souls, and one of the reasons it's so that it stays with you for quite a long time. Like, you get to know these environments really well because you go through them. Oh, sugar! So that's why the torch hollows are douchebags. See, you almost killed me there. Yeah, you certainly the first time you're going through the game, like I'm not super pro, like I died a lot, you know, and you learn the levels by simple repetition. You know, you go through them a lot. You learn tactics. You learn how to, you know, the most efficient way to get back to where your bloodstain was. You learn to be super cautious because you want to get back to that bloodstain that has 100,000 souls without dying, you know, because the first time you lose a bloodstain with a lot of souls in, it's just devastating. You know, you're just like, that is, like, you dying didn't lose you half an hour of progress, but you not getting back to your bloodstain kinda did. You know, like, it just feels that way. So, I mean, in terms of individual, I don't know if I'd say, like, I mean, I know I've talked about particular bosses, particular sections, but oh shit, bad R2. That was a bad R2. It's on poison. I should equip some purple moss actually, but oh
no.
dear. So we just lost 100,000 souls, so perfect example there. Possibly because, you know, of this fine Timmy Taylor's Landlord Real Ale.
One of my favourite beers. In fact, possibly my favourite beer. On a pump. Not so good in a bottle, but fine.
Well, I'm finding it delicious.
Oh, well, yeah. It's delicious any way you drink it, but it's particularly delicious from the pump of the Pulteney Arms pub in Bath, if you ever find yourself there.
Oh, what a pit. The day that they stopped doing pork pies was, you know,
Oh,
it's
man.
like the worst day in Bath's history.
I know, they just said it wasn't cost effective. They were making them too delicious.
Yeah, oh man.
Spent so long on them.
I would almost give up Dark Souls to have one of those pork pies.
Yeah.
Anyway, so frustrating moments. I think we kind of dealt with that, and you know, I'm quite proud of myself in living up to Dark Souls by not only talking about it but mechanically showing it as well. Very deliberate that was. So, back down at Quelag, eh? Back down at the old Quelag. Miss Boobs McGee herself. Although, you know, Guinevere makes her look quite flat-chested, really. Miyazaki said that he didn't really like Guinevere's design. Said it wasn't within his, you know, obviously this is translated from the Japanese, but he said it wasn't within his boundaries of what was classy or elegant. But when he saw how happy the artist was with his work, he didn't have the heart to tell him it wasn't acceptable. So there's Man-Eater Mildred.
Oh, here she comes across the swamp.
One of our NPCs. She's totally fine. We'll just let her come in here and bonk her. Oops. Maybe drink a bit of Estus first. Bonk. And Man-Eater Mildred, interestingly enough, is also a developer thing. When they were beta testing the game, I mean, this is all stuff that isn't from the game. You wouldn't really know this unless you were Dark Souls. Not when they were beta testing it, one of the developers started invading as a nearly naked woman with a wooden shield and a cleaver, and they just thought it was so funny that they kept it in. So, you know, she's not a lore thing. You
Right.
know, like, you're not going to find a reason for Man-Eater Mildred being there. Oh, I've just realised we put all those souls into our great boat. haven't used it.
Wow. Maybe
So-
now's the time with Qualag around the corner.
Oh, we've only got 5 arrows for it though. That's annoying though.
Make him count.
So it's pretty big, as you can see. Should we hit this thing with the first one? Why not? Oh, I missed it!
No is the answer to that question.
Oh, that is pathetic. I'm quite annoyed by that actually. I can't believe I thought my aim was true. I thought my aim was good. Obviously not. Alright, so let's down this. Let's go and fight Qualag. Hopefully stick a few Dragon Slayer arrows. Oh, narrowly missed us there. In her head.
And then maybe you might have something to say.
I think I might have something to say, Marty. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Dun 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 dun. Shall we summon the old man-eater Mildred? Seeing as there's no humans around, we may as well. It's almost like, this reminds me of playing it on the debug Xbox, like before the game was released.
Yeah.
There's just literally nobody else. Like if you played this on PS3, I hate to keep on bringing it up, but like it's just true. Like if you played this on console, there'd just be so many people around.
Does Dark Souls 2 presumably solve this problem?
Yeah, well, Dark Souls 2 has dedicated servers. This is player to player or peer to peer. I'm not sure what the terminology is, and I'm not even, you know, like I have no idea why it's so shit. Apart from it annoys me. So there's Qualag, her lovely belly button, everyone's such a fan of. I also like the fire effect on her. If you notice, it's actually composed of letters.
No. What, you mean
Yeah.
characters in written language?
Well, no, like the summon sign is composed of characters. There's our Dragon Slayer Grateful. Doesn't really do as much damage as our thing, but it's pretty cool, isn't it? Oh shit! No more Dragon Slayer Grateful. Yeah, let's just Zvai her ass. In fact, I'm going to take that off because it's slowing down our roll.
Come on. Yeah, that's a bit better by a factor of at least 3. So yeah.
Hello, Qualag. Want a piece of this?
I think she does.
Hello.
She is intrigued by this vibe.
I don't think she likes it though. Oh shit. Well, I avoided most of it. Bonk. Bonk. And no. I thought yeah, I thought she was going down for her little AoE there. Too wise for your tricks, Qualag. Whoa! He says, getting bloody mullered. Where's the old man-eater Mildred? Has she just disappeared?
I think she might have succumbed to the Chaos Witch's chaotic burping.
No, she's up there.
Oh, no, she's fine. Yeah, well, she's there.
I don't know.
She's chilling out.
Oh well. I'm just gonna have a swig. And then hit it in the side. And another. Lovely. Well, quite relaxing actually. You know, just chilling, bumming a spider. Shouldn't really use that turn of phrase when I'm talking about Qualag. People would just take it the wrong way. Rule 34. And believe me, it does apply.
Oh god. Oh,
Yeah,
no,
I know.
I'm not even want to think about that.
Well, you know, people are sick. Pretty good though. I'm joking. Please tell me you acknowledge that as a joke.
Yeah.
No. That attack has killed me so many times. It goes much further than you think. Oh, get out, get out.
Nice. Good dodge. Oh, good dodge. Good dodge, Kellogg.
Come on, man-eater Mildred. She's just, what is she, like trapped on the corridor or
I
something?
think she must have got stuck on a piece of geometry or something.
What a chump.
Well, there's no men to eat here. Only giant spider ladies.
I'm just gonna, oops.
Oh dear. Oh dear, Richard.
Let's go and have a look at what's happened to the man here in Mildred. What's up with you? She's trying to run away.
The fool.
Oh.
It's time for you to end this fight, Richard. Oh,
Oh well. Bonk. Bye bye, Quelag.
good night.
You had a good run. Oh, man here Mildred gets interested all of a sudden. Yeah, very brave sack face. Well, let's go. Ring a certain bell, and then I just might have something I want to say.
Oh, well, that could be.
I
But in the
wonder what
meantime, thank you all for watching this playthrough of Dark Souls. I hope that we've talked about the lore to your satisfaction on this, you know, discussion retrospective thing podcast / video that we're doing.
Thou shalt ring 2 bells, they said. And ring 2 bells we did.
Ding.
Pretty much quicker than the first time as well. In fact, I think the only times we died there were when I had my sudden brain farts in Blighttown, which I blame on Timmy Taylor's excellent beer.
Unfortunately, not sponsoring this
Yeah,
particular video.
I think he can also be held responsible for the 4 Kings, to be honest, if I remember rightly. But yes, I enjoyed that, Marty.
Maybe this has inspired me to play Dark Souls 2 when it comes out later this month on PC.
Perhaps it has.
No bets on how long it takes me to phone you up and cry down the phone to you and ask you to come round and play it for me.
And do you know what I'll say when you do that, Marty?
Well, what do you say, Richard?
Well, what is it?